Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another edition of the Smackdown Breakdown on a Monday, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. You can't do that without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
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 I was just as I said, no nights off. I'm like, well, we just took the last two, whatever, but it was because Bernard, just right off the bat, how was your weekend? What's up, Pitts and Sara? Craziness. All right. It was just effing crazy. And I'm not even trying to say crazy, like it was awesome, like party here, whatever. No, like I was busy with legit work, solving problems over at the fish pier. And then last night it was my dad's 69th birthday. Nice. And we went to a client's restaurant, Ocean Prime, if anyone is familiar with them. And I'm not kidding, Sara. I think it might have been one of the best meals I've ever had, from top to bottom. And 90% of it was my own company's product. So
well, look at you, Mr. Fancy.
it was cool. It was really cool. So that was awesome. And then today, I'm not even kidding you, because I've only had one day off. It was today. And then I have a wedding next weekend. No. 2 weeks, excuse me. In 2 weeks. So yeah, shit's crazy. And I know it's a Monday and it's like, well, Raw's tonight. Why are you talking? Why you guys talking about SmackDown? Because we need to give our thoughts out. All right. This isn't like, oh, we didn't do no, Sara and I have some great thoughts that we need to get out about SmackDown because it was a hell of a show that if I wasn't knee deep in problems and being Mr. Popular, as Sara likes to doubt me. Dub me. Thank you. Then I would have literally hopped right back in here because holy shit, what a SmackDown it was on one part of it. The other parts is just whatever, but I have some theories about my good pal, the tribal champ, as I'll call him, the people's champ.
Yeah, I'm sure they line up with what I already think or have said. So just give me a pat on the back.
Okay. What's up, y'all, Marcus? What's going on?
What is up?
Yeah,
okay, are we starting?
You can just start it. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go. Vinny's in the house. What's poppin', Vinny?
What is up? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. So we can just quickly go over some of these elimination chamber qualifying matches. My bad. So we started off SmackDown with Kevin Owens versus Dom. And as we predicted, or I mean, I guess we kind of predicted it more so like suggested, Mr. R-Truth did get involved in this. So kudos to us because we predicted that. And it was a fine match, right? It was whatever. Dom tries to manipulate Truth during the match to be like, you're in the Judgment Day, get me a chair. And R-Truth does that, and then he sits in the chair. And because of the distraction, Kevin Owens is able to win. So, I mean, this was a match that I feel like could have gone either way, but because they put R-Truth into the mix, it seems like, yeah, okay, Kevin's gonna win. The other men's qualifying match that we saw was Logan Paul versus The Miz. This was another great match, but of course it would be. These guys have worked together, so this was exciting. And obviously Logan won, which we knew was going to happen. And now we know the final lineup for the men's elimination chamber will be Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Bobby Lashley. What a lineup, first of all. Like,
if you want to stack a card, like that's a very star-studded match. I was looking at it when I watched it. I'm like, wow, all right, they're going all out for Perth because those are big names. Those are some.
I think they have to because I don't think that Roman's going. So, they're not going to have the bloodline there. I mean, they're having Cody and Seth go, even though they're not in
That's
matches,
what,
because
yeah.
they're going to be on the Grayson Waller effect. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's kind of pointless for them to be there, because if all they're going to do is have some segment that maybe like leads to something, I don't know. Maybe they'll have it after the men's chamber or before. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think that this was their way of like kind of making up for not having the champion there or something like that. And like I said, this is a very different chamber match than what we saw last year. Granted, it's for a different title. It's for a different number one contender spot or whatever. But last year, like we talked about, it was very like these guys need to have more time in the match for the most part, minus Seth, obviously. And this year it's like, nope, we're going all in with like our top guys. And because of the circumstances surrounding it, I think this makes way more sense. Like, you need it to feel like all of these guys could be in the world heavyweight title picture. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I think it's like this is perfect. And they're very lucky. This should be like a really, really good chamber match.
This is a type of chamber match where, like, if I hate the if we didn't already have plans of or our mindset on Drew McIntyre winning, then I would be more than okay with whatever happens in this match, because like Kevin Owens, star, Logan Paul is turning into. I can't believe I'm like actually dead set on this, but Logan Paul deserves to be in the future in the world title picture after his performances, and I've seen. Like, the dude knows ball. Randy Orton, obviously. LA Knight finally getting in there. Like, there's some big names in this match, and I can see some crazy big spots.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good, and I hope it's Drew McIntyre that wins. So and I'm gonna have to make sure I don't spoil it for myself, because I am not waking up at 3 a.m. to watch the show, unfortunately. So
No, I'll be at work. I'll be at work when that's happening. So Saturday is all about staying offline, which I did a good job about. A job with, I mean, on like Saturday with Smackdown. I
mm,
didn't watch anything with what we're gonna the rock stuff or whatever. I didn't even really know um who. I mean, I obviously knew some stuff, but like kept off there. Need to do that if you want to stay up with the elimination chamber stuff.
yeah, I'll have to be good about it, because I usually have like a habit of like I wake up and then I check my Twitter. And the biggest reason why I do that is because covering an East Coast football team,
It's tough,
like
yeah.
when I wake up, like I've already missed a bunch of news. So like I do it immediately so that I'm like, okay, what did I miss?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll have to make sure that I don't do that for wrestling, because it would be spoiled for me. So did you want to get to comments?
Entertainment might stay up. If you're on the West Coast and you stay up, I would at least suggest a midday nap on
Yeah.
Friday. Maybe
I
maybe like
know.
a 4 or 5 o'clock nap into 7:30.
I I wonder if I could do that actually, because I'm off on Friday and Saturday. So
You should
technically, like,
you should, alright, I'm not saying you should do, but an idea popped in.
mhm.
If you do like a midday nap on Friday, because like honestly, we're not gonna do a SmackDown breakdown for first because of Elimination Chamber.
But we could
Um,
do a reaction on Saturday during the day.
so take that nap into Friday
Mm.
instead of and make maybe like a deep nap, like a 4-hour nap. I used to do those in college all the time. It was awesome.
We'll have to
Uh,
see, because I'm a historically bad napper. So,
how are you a bad? What does bad napper mean?
hey, entertainment
Oh,
neighbor,
entertainment.
neighbor. I'm in Phoenix
Howdy,
too. That's
howdy, neighbor.
crazy. Elimination Chamber is on at 5 a.m. East Coast time, 2 a.m. West Coast, and 3 a.m. if you're on Mountain time. So it's early.
That's
I don't know if you wanted to get to
crazy.
more comments or not.
Um, ain't it crazy you go to sleep early and then wake up at 12?
I hate
Yeah,
that.
it's the
I hate
worst.
when I'm tired, like exhausted at 7:30, and then by the time I go back, try to lay down at like 11:30, my body's like, no, it's party time. And it's like, I'm
Let's
wide
get
awake.
after it.
I'm like, okay, but I was almost falling asleep at 7:30. So Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up today at 7, then went back to sleep around like 8:30 till 11, and then took another nap at like or 12 or something because it's just been it's what happens when you get up at 4 in the morning every day. You just have to reset
Mm,
your body. Hunter Iggy, I believe you both said about Okada going to AEW for the money is a bad idea, and he wrestled those same wrestlers already. He should go to WWE for new opponents. We did.
yes.
I think we did say that. I think there's a
Yes.
video in the archives about that.
Yes. Yeah, I think it just went up a couple days ago, actually. The second time we were like talking about it. Now that we know it's official that he's going to AEW, because we kind of said the same thing before we knew. Now that it's official, we were like, okay.
I still
Yeah, then
agree.
there's people trying to pass around the idea that Triple H was going to send him to NXT. Again, people are just getting so mad about it. I'm like, there's nothing that has been said that said he was going to do that. And I feel like that's not the case anymore. Like Triple
Mhm.
H doesn't run NXT. So if he's going to want to stack a roster, he's going to want to stack the main roster because he oversees Raw and SmackDown now. So
Exactly.
and I feel like, Okada is a guy that should be on the main roster, and there are guys that went to NXT during the Black and Gold era that maybe should have been on the main roster as well, but it was so different then. And uh although NXT is still developmental, and I would say it's more developmental now than it was during the Black and Gold era,
1,000%.
they're
1,000%.
still kind of above like what you would think developmental is. Like these are still people who are learning and getting better every day, but it's not like cringy how it was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
Where it was
no way.
like,
I couldn't even watch NXT
yeah.
2.0.
So that's what I
I
mean.
really
So I
couldn't.
think, yeah, Okada wouldn't fit in that mix. So I don't
You
think
wouldn't at all.
I don't think that there's truth to that. I don't think that was going to happen. Um
Nathaniel's in Seattle.
so it'll be
Hello.
2 a.m. for you, I believe.
And power to you, Vinny, getting up at 4 a.m. to watch it
Aren't
because
you
I'll be
in
getting up at.
Vegas? Aren't you in Vegas? It's on at 3. Or no,
So
maybe
Vinny's
it's
gonna miss the first hour of Elimination Chamber.
well, no, maybe it's on at 2 because he's on West Coast time.
Is Vegas LA time?
Yeah. They're not mountain time, I don't believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um okay,
All right.
moving on.
What
Then
we
we
got?
see
I
yeah,
loved this.
Drew McIntyre.
I loved this.
When I was taking my notes, this is just how I wrote it. And so I was like, this just has to be the banner because I was like, Drew McIntyre and LA Knight got beef, brother. Like I just had to write it like
You
that. So
got
apology.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the Hogan, but
So
whatever.
Drew McIntyre, who is doing double duty because he's like on SmackDown and stuff now. He's been on SmackDown the last couple weeks. So he was there, he was being interviewed, and LA Knight, of course, interrupts, which I was like, hey King, although these are both my kings, obviously. So he, like I said, he interrupts and he says that Drew's moment is going to be stolen at Elimination Chamber again, but this time it'll be by him. Drew says, okay, like you're great and everything, but I see through your shtick. Like this is all just coming from insecurity, like all of this, like the way you dress, the way you talk, everything. It's just all because you're insecure, and it's partly because you really haven't done anything in your wrestling career. LA Knight then calls him an old timer, which I love. Drew McIntyre then went on Twitter and was like posting their Wikipedias to show that he's older than him. So he's like, old timer, I'm younger than you. And he points out that actually, since LA Knight's been around, Drew, you haven't done anything. So I don't know, like,
That
why
is
you
a
talking?
fact.
Why you talking ish, Drew? And he says
Yeah.
that he is going to bury his aspiration just like he buried Punk's. Then they get a little bit feisty with each other and they have to be separated by referees.
We're just
And
talking. We're
it
just
was
talking.
announced that they will be facing each other on SmackDown, which we already know is a double taping last week. So they will be facing each other on SmackDown the night before the Elimination Chamber. And my main thing from this, other than being thoroughly entertained, is do you think this means anything more than them just trying to add like more substance to the Elimination Chamber than like do you think there is more than that, or do you think it's going to be a story? Like is this going to be a matchup? Like is there going to be a feud? Because to me I kind of feel like this is them just trying to add some extra spice to the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it was extra spice of the Elimination Chamber. It's the double taping, which I've seen like with AEW, what they do is they'll do something on Dynamite, and then it'll be like on Rampage, and it's like, well, that means in an hour you're gonna see these two
Mm,
face.
yeah.
So like, and I don't mind that direction. I think it's perfect. It just also, I would say, helps that Elimination Chamber is next week. I mean, this week. So you want to build that up, and it builds up more tension for when they're both in the chamber with each
Mhm.
other. So it's not just like the first time they see each other. It's like, yeah, like we both want the title, but then there's like
Yeah.
more like tension there to build it. And I like it because it's Drew,
Mm.
who is just this truth bomb right now, going off saying how he deserves everything, which Loki does. And then you have LA Knight, who he deserves the world heavyweight title for his own right. So it's those types of two heads going at it. And I mean, they already have history with each other back in Impact. I
Mhm.
saw that picture posted. So I love that element of it. I'm just here for it. I'm just a fan of it.
Yeah, I like it too, just because, these types of matches I think are fine. We've talked about some of these, even the ones that they've been doing recently with like tag matches and whatever, where like they don't really have beef. It's just kind of like they're competing for the same prize, like they're both trying to go for it. So there doesn't need to be some sort of deep storyline between them. But I do like when it's a match like this that they have a
Mhm.
little bit more involved, and I feel like it makes sense, like you were saying with Drew's just like beefing with everybody, so it's like that's cool. And 4 out of the 6 guys in this match are baby faces, so it's like there's got
Mhm.
to be some sort of beef here, like we need it to be a little bit more entertaining, because for the most part,
Definitely.
your traditional mindset in wrestling is there's a good guy and a bad guy, and this is like 3/4 good guy. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't think this is gonna be that much of anything, because 'cause they're on different shows also, and if Drew McIntyre were to become heavyweight champion at Mania, LA Knight's still on SmackDown. So, yeah, I don't think this is gonna really be going anywhere. Um, let's see. Okay, and then we had, 2 women's, Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. So we first saw, Tiffy Time versus Zelina
Tiff-
Vega. And I'm obsessed with Tiffany. I am just obsessed with her, and I am so glad that she won.
Tiffany is the girl that if I would go to school with, like, would bully me, and I'd say
Yes.
thank you. Like, I would just be like,
She would
yes, please.
she'd bully me and I would probably cry. I
No, you're
sh
crying. No,
yeah,
she's
I'm
bullying you
crying.
for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
She's bullying me for the right reasons. Oh God. Yeah, no,
Anyway,
sorry. Yeah.
so
it's,
I'm
it's it's been a while.
I'm just excited that Tiffany's in this and that they're like, pushing her to the moon pretty quickly. Um, so I was happy with that. And of course, they were showing that Zelina is still beefing with the LWO and they're doing that. So at
Oh,
least it
I
wasn't like,
loved that.
well,
I
because
was
then at
a
least it's not like
huge
Zelina's completely thrown out. You know what I mean? Like she still has something going on, even though
yes.
she's not in this. But I think she's going to be in the Battle Royal on Raw. So
Oh yeah,
um,
tonight, yeah.
yeah, so she'll have that. And then we had Naomi versus Alba Fire, which was great. And Naomi won pretty quickly, which is fine. But first of all, Naomi, first. New song. Do we like her new entrance theme?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah.
You haven't heard it, have you?
No.
Okay.
No, I
Um,
didn't. No,
so
I was damn it. I knew Nia was gonna win
exposed.
this. You fucking
Yeah,
exposed me. You just
I
like
could tell.
I when I was watching SmackDown again, because I like hand up, I fall asleep in SmackDown. It's what happens. And I fell asleep right after the LA Knight Drew McIntyre,
Hmm.
like right in there. And so when I went to watch the next day, I went, okay, what I missed, boom. Pretty much just getting to the Rock. We just need to
Right.
get to the Rock. So when it
So
came to this match, I just skipped it because I knew Naomi was gonna win.
yeah.
I
Um,
yeah.
so I'm kind of torn on how I feel about it. I think it's like it's the first time you hear it, so it's like you're like I'm not sure. I'll have to maybe look it up and see if I can just listen to it like on its own, because this is how I felt with Pretty Deadly getting the new song. You know what I mean? I hated it at first, and now I'm like, no, it's pretty good. Like,
Yes, boys.
um, I wish that they were on TV more. I don't understand, but anyway, so yeah, so now the matchup now until we see who wins the last chance battle royal is Naomi, Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, and Bianca Belair. I am very interested to see who the last woman is going to be, because they were saying that it was going to be Jade Cargill, and it is apparently not going to be Jade anymore. So I'm wondering who they're going to have in her place, because I'm like, I mean, if they were trying to do the whole, the final 6 women in the Royal Rumble, then that would be Jade. But then I'm like, who feels like they are worthy to be in Jade's spot? You know what I mean? Like, not saying that Jade is like up here and like you can't be there, but it feels like the star power that Jade has, it's like, okay, if you're going to take that out of the match, then who's going to be put in her spot instead? That's the thing where I'm like, I'm not sure.
What if it's Chelsea Green?
I mean, I would love that, because people don't associate her with these types of matches, although they should, because she did them all the time in the
That was
indies.
all she did in the indies.
So that, yeah, but I'm saying, like, with her current character, it's always very, it's like she does not do these things. So I would love
No.
that. I would love that, because, like, yeah, get Chelsea to Australia, dude. Please do that. I would love it. Okay, do you want to get to comments?
Yeah, go from the bottom up here. Jade's aura she's got that aura, man.
She's queen.
She
An
does have that
absolute
aura.
queen.
Vinny agrees with you that the old song slapped more.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that is
Speaking of,
true.
it's literally about, yeah.
Well, and the thing is like, that's what's cool about his, because I mean, he literally went to the band and like asked them to write him a song. And I'm sure he told them, like, these are the things I want included and whatever. And that's the part that we're missing from theme songs now, is that it's all generic sounding and they're not using like actual artists, you know what I mean? Like how it used to be. So I think that's a big thing that's missing. And that's why it's lucky for Cody that he was in the indies and then he was with the AEW, where they're like, yeah, dude, we'll pay for whatever. Like, if you want to play this, yeah, we'll do it. And WWE is just not there anymore.
Tiffany is the new next queen of SmackDown. I'd agree. She's just like her little segment that she did have with Bianca and Liv.
Yeah, she fights Liv on SmackDown next week.
Oh, oh wait, I did see a clip of, okay. That was the double taping. Yep. Okay.
Yes, yeah, she fights Liv next week. So
Connecting dots. Urban, Vinny, The Rock could help finish Cody's story, and Vinny saying fuck The Rock. So we don't like
I can't say anything about The Rock yet, because I have my thoughts. But I do believe, like, with almost my entire being, that Rock is turning on Roman. But I thought that even before SmackDown. So
yeah, Helen Keller can see that coming. All right, what's next here?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was more.
No.
Oh, we're already down here because there's not a whole lot to talk about.
There's not a whole
lot. So Nick Aldis, we see him backstage, and he is with Jade and Braun Breaker, and he's trying to sign both of them to SmackDown. And my immediate thought was, no, you cannot sign Jade to SmackDown. Get away from her. She is not going to go to the blue brand. No.
Did you see her facial reactions during that, taking it back to the Tiffany Stratton backstage segment, before she entered? Did you see her like reactions, facial expressions when, like, that was more, I got the inkling that was a tease that she's more of a Raw gal.
I need her to be on Raw, because this, like, other than just feeling like she's a Raw superstar, there's just so many girls on SmackDown right now. And there's just not enough on Raw.
Really,
like,
too many.
Jade needs to be on Raw, and then that also gets us to see like Jade versus Rhea, Jade versus Nia, which I already teased, Jade versus Becky, maybe. Like, I understand why people would want her on SmackDown, because Bianca's there, and then like Charlotte will be there, and Damage Control is over there. Like, I get it, but if we're trying to balance the rosters, it makes
Yeah.
absolutely zero sense for her to be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that she was like mad, but she was like, "You're interrupting like my contract signing," and I was like, "Yes, that is Queen Tiffany doing the Lord's work because she's like, girl, you ain't coming to SmackDown." Okay, that's why Tiffany was there. That's really why Tiffany was there secretly. She was doing it for me. She was doing it for me.
She was your secret agent, your double
Yes.
agent there.
Yes. But we do see that Braun eventually does sign with SmackDown, and apparently Braun is like super over, which I mean, it's not that I didn't expect that necessarily, but I was just kind of surprised a little bit because he is not unfamiliar to the SmackDown audience, but again, they're not as in tune with these people that are on NXT. And for the most part, for the last year or whatever it's been, he's been a bad
Mhm.
guy. So
And that spurs a question I wanted to ask you, is that do you think because Braun went that heel route and how is gone that way, do you think that's helped him get more over with the crowd so that they
I
actually
think
were into him?
I think so, and that's why I'm saying, like, there's certain people that I think that have to do that, and I talked about with MJF. Not that MJF and Braun Breaker are in the same situation, but I'm
Oh,
saying,
yeah, I
like,
agree.
people get so used to you in a certain way that sometimes they just grow complacent because it's like, we already know what you're going to do, like, you're not that interesting anymore because, like, you've done everything. We already know. We can predict what is gonna happen, and I think it just makes them a better like wrestler. It makes them a better entertainer if they can
Mm,
show that they're multifaceted and that they're not just in a box, because there are some people that can't really be both characters. They're not good at both. We've talked about it
yeah,
with Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's not a good baby face. It's just
no.
because she's just not. And so, and I think that that's just something that they have to deal with sometimes. Like, it's just like you're not going to be good at everything. And I just feel Braun needed to have this moment. And so I am interested to see what they do, because him and Corbin just won the tag team
And I
titles in
was just about to
NXT.
say, they just
S
became NXT, tag team champions, so where's that gonna fly?
I know, and I
Wow.
would assume that they're not going to just take the titles off of them, like, right away, because it was a huge deal that they took them off the family, and
Yeah.
people are really loving this random
Wolf
pairing.
Dogs!
Yeah,
Wolf
so
Dogs are awesome. I
I
am
wonder if they would maybe try to bring Corbin back to SmackDown with him at some point.
That's I was driving home from work and I had that thought. Like, if they're the tag team champions and you know how that you can't split them up. They're like as hot as you can be right now with tag teams.
Yeah,
And it would be an easy way to get Corbin back into the SmackDown on the SmackDown brand.
yeah.
And right now he's doing, I would say, his best work of his career.
Yeah, and I think that if it means that he has to be paired with Braun for a bit, then I think they should do it, because obviously they've had a lot of trouble keeping Baron afloat,
Mhm.
because he'll be really hot and then 2 weeks later it's like he's a mid-carder, lower level guy that you're like, why is he on TV? And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they've been doing a really good job down in NXT keeping him interesting. But I just wonder what their plan is with Braun specifically, because obviously, like, he's the future.
Mhm.
Corbin's not, because he's been around for so long. So I don't think the most ideal scenario would be to have Braun tied to a tag team partner, for a long time if they're trying to
Yeah.
push him as a singles guy. Like, so I don't know. We'll have to see. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's something, maybe they hold the titles until Mania, like
Oh,
till
okay.
Stand and Deliver or something.
Mhm.
And
I
then
can see
that's
that.
like Braun's like official call up.
Mhm.
I mean, because he can do NXT and SmackDown.
They can do
So,
both.
yeah.
There's no
Um, so
much.
we'll have to see. And then we got Dakota Kai trying to convince Bailey, you need to help me, girl,
Poor
because
girl.
Damage Control is after me. And I was like, how dare you, Dakota? How
Yeah,
freaking
I come
dare
on,
you?
girl.
Yeah,
I love Dakota as much as the next guy, but you gotta know your place, man.
I
You can't be
know.
going to Bailey right now asking for help and that's your demeanor. Bailey is at public enemy number one right now to Damage
Yeah.
Control, and she's got to finish her own story and take down what she started. Dakota is, and listen,
Mhm.
girl. We know your history. All right. We know you are not the most trustworthy person. So this interaction was perfect. I loved it to kind of continue this little damage control story, give them a reason to main event night one, truly.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm more questions now about if Dakota is her feelings are, true, like she's actually scared, or she's just playing the ye old possum move on her good pal.
Yeah. So I think that this was interesting, and I think it got you to still think about Dakota as not a squeaky clean, like trustworthy
Mhm.
person right now for Bailey, you know? So, um I think that made it a little bit more interesting because, last week it seemed like it looks like, oh, okay, she already has an immediate trustworthy person like Dakota is going to work with Bailey against damage control. And so you're like, okay, whatever, and it's like that's fine, but at the same time, it's not like that interesting, you know?
Yeah.
So I think this was a great way to go about it. Um and I'm curious to see how this ends up playing out because you don't know what they're gonna want to do with Dakota at this point, especially
Mhm.
after, you thought last week it was gonna be like, okay, yeah, so she's in Bailey's corner. And this week it's like, okay, Bailey's not really that into it. And it's like, okay, but what is she gonna do? Because Bailey, you're not gonna want to go up against your three former teammates by yourself.
You can't. You need some
Um,
backup.
yeah, and it seems like the most logical answer would be Dakota, but I like that at least if that's what it's going to be, that it is not the it's not it's not happening right now. Like we're gonna have to wait to see if that's what the end game is. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather do
Mhm.
that than have to sit here and be like, however many weeks in it, what is it, 6 weeks before Mania or something,
Yeah.
with already knowing or whatever the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, But anyway, yeah. So I thought it was great to see Bailey also not immediately trust her because it very easily could have been this week that like she was like, yeah, okay, Dakota, sure, I'll help you, whatever. Like that's how Bailey's been. So I
Yeah.
like that Bailey's like she's got her guard up a little bit. So
She
I
does.
do
She
like
does.
that. So before we get into the rock stuff, do you want to do some comments first?
Yeah, let's oh. Uh hold on. Let me get to some comments here.
Also, I
Um
someone just told me how I messed up on an article, so I'm like trying not to freak out about it.
I hate when that happens. Uh Dakota is best friend is Raquel. Is it really? Is that like true? That'd be cool. I like
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I
We got Dakota could help Bailey. Like she could, but I don't know. With the history. Where's the comment here? Where is it? Where is it? There it is, Damon. There's what I'm looking for. Dakota Sky's a snake in the grass. You're damn right. She's a snake in the grass. You can't trust her. I mean the whole Tegan Knox stuff, just ask her. Just ask Tegan Knox.
mhm.
Yeah, like uh Braun makes sense on SmackDown, the Heyman connection plus feuds with LWO, Bobby, and like Roman down the line. Absolutely. I agree that Braun is the next Paul Heyman guy. Like if Paul has been on record saying that he did never wanted to go manage someone else other than Brock, but then the opportunity with Roman came about and he was like, "Oh, all right, I'm in." Another
Yeah,
one of those moments has to happen with Braun Breaker. This dude is a star in the making, and I love that they made him go heel right now because he's so much more fluid as a heel, and just like it feels like it's actually him and he's not trying to be something he's not, and it's some of his
yeah,
best stuff. That's why we got the Wolf Dogs. So
mhm.
fan of
Wolf
that.
dogs, so
The
stupid.
Wolf Dogs. I love it. No, I've Baron Corbin's theme song I've been binging for the past like 3 days, maybe even longer.
Oh, really?
Burn the ships. It's so good. It gets me so hyped. All right, what do we got left? What do we got here?
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to quickly fix that.
You
Okay,
got
then we get
it.
on to the main portion of the show, which of course was the bloodline segment, right? Because of course they only come out for the last 10 minutes. Why wouldn't they? Um so first we get the tribal oh my god, the people saying the tribal queef. Oh my god, have you seen that? They're
That's
calling him the
so
tribal
funny.
queef.
That's
The
so
tribal
funny.
queef. I'm like, ew, what? But anyway, okay. So we have Roman come out, blah, blah, blah. You know, we're just waiting because he wants to be acknowledged. And then he officially introduces The Rock as a member of the bloodline. And then The Rock comes out, and this is okay. I don't know if I should I'm just going to wait. I'm going to go over what The Rock said, and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it because I take some
Yeah, you got
issues with some of the
I think
okay.
that's good. I think that's a good way to do it.
Okay. So The Rock comes out, you know, does his thing, and he just goes back to his typical shtick, right? So he starts insulting the audience left and right. He calls them trailer park trash, talks about how they have 50 wives and a ton of inbred children. He says that he will slap the herpes lips off this fatty in the audience.
Yes, he did.
So he immediately just jumps right back in like he's never left before. And he says that they had made the greatest main event in WrestleMania history between him and Roman Reigns, but it was thrown away because of Cody and the Cody Crybabies. He says Cody lost last year to Roman, and now all of a sudden he wants a rematch. So how does he get that? That doesn't make any sense. You already lost. And this is where everybody was like, hello, he won the Royal Rumble. Like, it's kind of a weird detail for you to just casually forget.
Yep. No, yes.
So that was weird. And people were trying to spin it into like, oh, well, it's just him being a heel. I'm like, no, this is why I feel even more that this wasn't the original plan. Because it was like we were supposed to just like forget that Cody won the
he would challenge Seth. That's what they were trying to.
I know, but it's like it's like they're trying to make it make sense by being like, he doesn't deserve a rematch, and it's like, but he won the Rumble, you know. But it's like, because they had to pivot to this, it's like we have to try and forget that he won the Rumble. Like, but anyway, he says that he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that Cody walks out the loser, and that his story is just beginning. The bloodline is the most dominant in all of sports entertainment. If you smell what the bloodline is cooking. So, thoughts. Okay. My first thing is,
I'll let you go off. I have my own. I'll let you go off with yours.
Well, it's funny because you don't even know what I'm going to say because we haven't even talked about it.
I don't. Oh.
One of my issues, and I'm trying not to be picky because, as I've said multiple times, this is what I wanted. I wanted Cody to have his rematch against Roman. I didn't want it to be Rock Roman. So I feel like I don't have a leg to stand on in this argument because I feel like I don't have a right to complain about anything because I am getting what I want. So why am I complaining? I'm just going to complain because if this is a storyline that we're going with, then I want it to be better. And right now, I feel like The Rock is not 100% committed to this character. I don't think that he can't stay in character. Like, throughout all of SmackDown, we see him arriving at SmackDown in his truck. The first thing he does is smile, like his big smile, and then it's like he realizes, oh shit, like I'm supposed to be a bad guy. So then he's like, you know, he comes out at the end of SmackDown. Immediately he's pointing to the goosebumps. Brother, no, we can't act like you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this reaction. Oh my God, this is so great. You can't act like that. You're supposed to just be like, fuck these people, you know? Second, or third, when the cameras went off, he was going around like fist bumping kids.
Because he knows that's who he is now.
No, be in character, because this is the thing. Did you hear that people were like not booing him? There was like really no boos, and it's like you're not doing a good enough job to get people to hate you, because it can't just be the only time they hate The Rock is when it's against Cody. It's like they need to get to a level where it's like, no, we hate The Rock, because then again, as I've said, when he turns on Roman at Mania, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, right? But it's like you need to get to the complete opposite feeling about him to then be that satisfied when it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's like everyone says the opposite of love is hate. You hate people the most that you used to love. And it's like, okay, but we need to get to that point with The Rock. You can't just be kind of like, The Rock's whatever. It's like, no, you need people to be like, fuck The Rock. Like, you need everybody to be saying that. And it can't be just when he's like talking to Cody or like maybe taking the match away. You know what I mean? It needs to be like, I was just hoping that he would be more committed to the whole thing so that it would be easier for everybody to hate him. Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
thought he was very committed, and other than the
I didn't get it.
like, though I legitimately love this because it really feels like we're going to blur the lines with TKO and WWE, and The Rock was TKO personified into a person with what they wanted for
Mm.
WrestleMania, and this screams pivot in such a big way
That's
because The Rock
that's what
was saying how he was like, "You had it in your hands, you had all this," and it's probably his true feelings. He probably wanted to do it, but they're going in with the Cody thing and the Cody crybabies. Like it's the it's one of the few times that, and it seems like it's now going to be a thing where they are pivoting in what the fans want, and he's like, "All right, well, if we're gonna give you what you want, I'm gonna just release my frustrations about it, but it's also best for business." And we got like old school Rock with the trailer park trash comments,
the
the
silk shirt.
the silk when someone said he looks like a fully evolved Ricky Starks, I lost it. And you're
He's
getting
the
the
Machamp. Ricky Starks is the Machoke.
ma-
It's Machop, Machoke, Machamp. He's the Machoke.
oh, okay.
Like he's not fully evolved yet. The
Oh,
Rock
thank
is Machamp, the
yeah,
one with that's
okay.
got like the forearms and the giant muscles and
Yes.
yeah. Ricky Starks
Yes.
is Machoke.
Okay, Pokemon.
Yes.
Yes, I finally got that good. Yes, he like the and I love The Rock heel. Like he is just so good at when he's on the mic. And there are a lot of instances during that where it feels like there's some underlying storytelling. I saw a lot of tweets and stuff about how when The Rock was saying, "Wait, make sure you walk out of WrestleMania a loser." He was saying it in the direction of Roman,
I
and
do
how
think
he did
someone
this
yeah, the
when
L.
the L. I think it's a call. It's going to be a callback later
He's
where
giving
he turns
signs.
around and he does a point like we'll say like a Kenny Omega type of like that,
Yeah.
and then boom, rock bottom. Like it's and if that's what we're gonna get, Rock, I love you. Like I
Well,
can't hate you.
yeah, no, I was gonna mention the hints as well. But I think yeah, I think part of the reason why other than what I've already said about him not being fully committed, I think part of it is because this wasn't the plan. He wasn't expecting to have to be old school heel Rock, you know what I mean? And so I think that because it was just such a flip of the script so quickly and
Mhm.
unexpectedly, which I still don't understand how this many brains can be in one room and they could not anticipate that people would be pissed about The Rock taking Cody's spot, but whatever. Um, I think that's partially why it's difficult for him to be like 100% committed. Because to me, it feels like he's 75% there, but like he's just having a hard time of letting go of the like natural things that he does. So it's like, because don't get out of the truck and smile all cheesy. You're not supposed to be
He's
happy hearing the crowd
he's
chant for
not.
you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're not supposed to be going around high fiving kids. Like people are recording everything now. So it's like, I get it. It's
Yeah.
really difficult to be in character 100%. And it's nearly impossible now because it's not the 90s where, everybody can't is still reading the newspaper. Now it's like everybody has cell phones and cameras and whatever and can upload videos in 2 seconds. So I don't blame him in that aspect. I just wish that he would be like be a full-blown dick, dude. Like don't be doing this. Like don't be like, "Oh my god, my goosebumps. I'm so excited." Like don't do that. Um but like I said, I can't complain really. I shouldn't complain, but I feel like
You
I'm a wrestling
shouldn't.
fan show. I'm allowed to complain about some
You
things.
got to. You got to.
But yeah, I do think that he was hinting a little bit that he was kind
Oh,
of
it's
letting us know. Cause then everybody afterwards was like, he's telling us. I'm like, how did you guys not know this though? Like, how did you not know this was coming? Like, yeah, of course, this was the pivot the entire time. Like,
yeah.
but and like I said, I think this is a far more interesting story, like we were saying, This is so
Way
much more
better.
interesting than
Way better.
who's the bigger tribal chief and like whatever was going to be the original plan. Like this is so much better.
It's so right though, he did say that Cody has his story, but the bloodline has theirs. And that's a little hint to yes, Cody does have his story that he's going to finish the chapter of and become champion. But then you also
Mhm.
have the bloodline story, which we could still be going into the bottom of the sixth with the bloodline story,
Mhm.
but in the bottom of the ninth of the Roman Reigns title reign
Yeah.
version of it. And now you
Yeah.
have The Rock and how, maybe the bloodline story is going to be like a Brock Roman type of feud where it's just the marquee big feud, doesn't have to do a title. It's just more about the who's the best man, baddest dude, whatever. And if that's the case and we're going to go there, I am all for that because you need history in wrestling within storylines. It's what makes it that much better. And we said it. You, as much as you wanted Cody over to face Roman over The Rock, and people want that. We have always said that we want to see Cody. I mean, we always want to see Roman versus Rock. It just doesn't need to be for a title. So this could be the
Mm.
way
Mhm.
where it's the Michael Scott win, where everyone gets what they want basically just because of some people chanting and starting a "We Want Cody" movement.
Well, and it really could be too, like if everything goes according to our prediction of, Rock turning on Roman, whether it's to help Cody win or after Cody wins, like um it could be something that doesn't need to wait until next year's Mania. Maybe it is something that happens at SummerSlam, because it could be. I saw someone in the comments saying, like, what if this becomes like the Nation of Domination and The Rock, like, is like, I'm the tribal chief. And he says and convinces Jimmy and Solo that that's the truth because they just saw Roman lose. So
Mm,
it's like they could do that, and then their matchup could eventually be who is the real tribal chief. So that could be like the story, which is a continuation of the bloodline. And then it's
mm,
like Roman having to prove and like win over his family again or something, And I mean, it could be a way too for them to turn Roman babyface because you
easily.
could you could go with The Rock like, oh, he's a good guy because he helped Cody, but it also could be like, I'm kicking you out of your position and that's a problem, blah blah blah. I don't know. There's a lot of ways that this can go, but I do think, like I said, this is far more interesting than what I think we were originally going to get. So,
Far more interesting. I
um,
agree.
anyway, did you want to get to some comments? Because that was the
We'll get to
last little bit.
comments before we wrap up here. Rock is not putting Roman over. I disagree with that.
I
I don't.
disagree.
Uh, it's not. The Rock
He
turns.
is.
He is. Rock turns on Roman and Solo. Absolutely see that. Rock Roman after Mania story getting led up to next year's WrestleMania. Yes,
That
that's
seems like
that's
the most likely scenario in my eyes, just because it's so uh first of all, Rock can commit to something from a year from now because then if a
mhm,
movie comes up or something, he'll be like, dude, I can't work, March and April or whatever because I'm doing WrestleMania. It's a year in
mhm.
advance. Two, he did it twice with John Cena. So if we're supposed to believe that Roman is like this era's John Cena, then yeah, do a year-long build-up. Because I feel like that also gives them a long enough time to then try and figure out what they want to do with Roman over the next year. Like, do you want him to still be the tribal chief? Like, is he going to start to lose the respect of Solo and Jimmy? Like, is he going to be turning babyface? Like, there's other things that they can do in that year. And I think that's way more interesting than keeping him champion for another
Oh,
year.
1,000%. And what a way to sell tickets to your next WrestleMania by advertising the main event type of match.
Yeah, you
Uh,
can already say it's Rock Roman. Like,
like that's a selling point already.
mhm.
Uh, oh, and have the Rock heel run babyface. Yep. Rock wanting to lead Solo and Jimmy, maybe Jacob for two. That's the other thing because Jacob for two and MLW is the best out of all of them, and his contract's up. I think he's a free agent right now.
He is, yeah. He got
If
out of his contract, I think.
Yeah, there it is.
So that's why
mean,
people were
come
thinking, well,
on.
this was like a month or so ago. So people thought he was going to be there for Rumble and he wasn't. So I wouldn't be surprised if he were to show up at Mania.
His name was on the Bloodline thing.
And what if they showed up? What if a bunch of them show up and they stand behind Rock instead of Roman?
That would be so cool. Like, that's some cinema type shit. That would be.
It'll be interesting because you also, it's like you want to see this kind of stuff that's really cool, but you also don't want it to take away from Cody's win. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want it to overshadow the impact of Cody winning.
Oh, yeah. No, Cody needs to win on his own might, but he needs some help because he's going to need the bloodline's going to be helping Roman, so he's going to.
Well, that's why I sent you that video of the guy talking about how it's going to, like you were saying, that it's going to be like Marvel, that they've already had their Civil War.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like Endgame, whatever.
Infinity War. It's literally that.
And so it's like, I think that, but see, that's the thing. The fact that they're doing all of that too makes it feel even more that they're going to be taking the title off Roman. And maybe that's just me having wishful thinking. But to me, there's no point in having like an army of support behind Cody if you're then going to keep the title on Roman, because then who the hell takes the title off Roman eventually? Like, you're basically saying there's nobody here to take it off of him. And it's like, no one wants to see it be The Rock. I'm sorry. Like, if he were to be champion for another year, I don't want to see 52 or whatever year old Rock take the title. Like, to me, you're then burying your current talent.
You are.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it's 1,000% backwards thinking.
Yeah. So, anyway.
That would be really cool. That's all. That's all we got.
Okay.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of the Smackdown Breakdown. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow for the Raw Rewind because in 59 minutes we got Raw. Yeah. And we're going to have a lot of shit go down. Cannot wait for that. And in the meantime, go check out the archive videos. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell notification to know when we post and go live. And then check out where to follow us on all social media platforms in the links in the description below. And that's it. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. Awesome.